morning, everyone. Good morning. It is, I'd like to call a meeting to order at 9:33, December 7th, 2022. December 7th is a very significant day. So in our moment of silence this morning, we are honoring and recognizing 81 years ago, Pearl Harbor. So something to keep in mind as we have our silence. And now our pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public comment? Agenda items only. As you start out our meeting. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed on business numbers 1 and 2?
So moved. Second.
The second, any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have a special honor today. Bonnie's here. Typically, we like to recognize she has 35 plus years. Just a little bit over, right? When she retired, 35 years of service to Monroe County. So Bonnie, if you would stand up, and I'm going to ask you to come forward and we're going to have a special recognition for your service. Yeah. So we have a Monroe County Certificate of Special Recognition to Bonnie A. Sauter for more than 35 years of dedicated service to the County of Monroe. Best wishes on you. You said?
Oh, it's been challenging.
For those of you that don't know, she's our HR director.
How many boards and commissions?
8 points.
8 different boards.
Started with Jack Parker, Tom Joyce, and Jim Pugh.
Don't tell them the last 10 have been your best, because then the others will feel bad.
They've all been challenging. The unions have been most challenging, but it's been a ride. I've enjoyed it. I'm going to miss everybody. So I won't miss the stress.
No, of course not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I understand that arts and crafts are in your future.
Travel.
You will use all your women points.
Okay. Moving on to new business.
Need a motion to adopt the proclamation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I just thought that was automatic. Oh, hear a motion to adopt the proclamation for Bonnie?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
If we don't, she can't retire.
No, she can retire. She's different.
You just quit.
So we have a first and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Other new business. Do I have a motion to approve the actions in personnel under new business items A and B?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 2, electronic financial transactions we're ratifying. And number 2, do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 2, items A, B, and C?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 3, moving on to travel authorizations, approved and ratified. Do I hear a motion to approve and ratify the items on number 3, item A?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 4. Monroe County Area Agency on Aging. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 4, item A?
So moved.
I'll second.
First and second, any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to number 5, Monroe County Children and Youth Services. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, item A?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to number 6, Commissioner's Office. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the items in the Commissioner's Office, items A through items A through M?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the first and second, any questions or discussions?
I just asked Mr. Dunn to comment on J. J is the agreement with Babs Coward, attorneys at law to represent the county in an election matter.
There are 2 lawsuits pending in the Western Federal District Court of Pennsylvania. Both of them, they're almost identical. But they are asking the court to declare that the failure or the not counting ballots that have an incorrect date or no date violation of federal law, which is sort of a revisitation of earlier case that was brought out of Lehigh County that made it to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, but ultimately was vacated. Their decision in the Third Circuit was that the undated ballots should count, but the person who had challenged the order saying that these ballots would count conceded the election. So the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, said that the case was moot and vacated the decision of the Third Circuit. So there is no federal ruling currently in effect that says you count or don't count ballots that weren't properly dated or are undated. So this lawsuit, both lawsuits, seek to get a judicial declaration that those ballots should count. As with the other lawsuits, this is, I wouldn't say it's not a Democratic National Committee as plaintiffs. There's other plaintiffs who seem to identify with Democrats, but not necessarily. They're hoping that I guess that there would be a declaration before the next election that these ballots count or don't count. Obviously, there's count, but it's the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's ruling, the divided court saying that these ballots are to be set aside and not counted. That's the latest and greatest word. So, vacating of that prior decision seems these plaintiffs are trying to get another federal court to declare the same thing that the Third Circuit did. Whether that would make it up to the United States Supreme Court or not, I don't know. If it did, that would be decided by the next election, but you never know. In any event, what I was starting to say, and lost my train there for a second, is when they bring these suits, whether they're past, there's been some DNC suits, some RNC suits, but they name all 67 counties as boards of election as defendants. And it seems much more efficient to have fewer lawyers rather than more lawyers involved. This law firm represents 16 other counties, and they've agreed to represent us in defending this lawsuit. But it's really, say defending, I should use that term loosely. We're named as defendants, but our position is not necessarily in opposition to the request. It's just simply that whatever the court rules, we're going to abide by. But we have to have legal representation, and it just seems to make more sense to have, it's cost efficient too, to have one law firm representing, in this case, 17 counties. There's other counties that have their own representation. This case is in Erie, Pennsylvania. Well, in practice, traveling out there, even though John Christie tells me it's the largest spot in the world.
It is.
So
Certain
I spoke, I was very Moyer-like. I spoke for a long time. But that's
But
what
there's
that's.
a pearl of wisdom in there. It's better to have fewer attorneys than more. I heard you
You
say
would
that.
like that.
That was the Moyer pearl.
Thank you for that clarification.
I just wanted people to be aware of the fact that it was, Monroe County is a part of it, but it wasn't pointed at Monroe County. We're one of the 67.
We are. Okay. Okay, any other discussion from our commissioners? Questions? All right, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to number 7. Monroe County Municipal Management Authority. Do I hear a motion to approve number 7, Monroe County Municipal Management Authority, items A and B?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8, Monroe County Conservation District. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in item 8? Item A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you want to comment on what we're still missing on the?
But we're still missing one more director for the board, for the board, district board of directors. And we haven't a nomination, it's the farm representative. Someone who owns a farm and is an active farmer in Monroe County. And there's real requirements behind that. I think it's 80 acres or 60 acres. That you have to have an active farm that in order to be a representation, there are guidelines for the conservation board. We will be doing that. We will be appointing that, hopefully our next meeting. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Did I have to excuse myself or,
Right. Whisper that. If you do,
okay,
you're not just taking action to appoint yourself if you think it's a good idea. You should
yeah, I do.
vote on it.
It's a very rewarding, as our boards are, for me, as a county commissioner, serving actively on these boards is just outstanding.
To be clear for the public as well, too, one commissioner has to be on this board. There's a commissioner representative. So that's why.
As there are in some other boards as well.
And we know that the other two gentlemen were battling that position, but you prevailed.
I missed out on the acreage fight, just that much.
Okay, all right. We approved, did we say yes? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, number 9, I remember that. Number 9, a motion to approve the actions listed in number 9, redevelopment authority of the county of Monroe, items A through D.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any questions, discussion?
Martha?
We have representation here.
We do
yes?
have representation. Marcia, what is the demolition fund amount that we have right about now, guesstimate?
Now, 1.4,
Right, so that's an increase from 100,000 to 200,000. Does the building have to be bladed for it to come down?
Yes,
it has to be,
Right, and the county can declare a building bladed? Or the township or borough?
Yeah.
Okay. And does it have to be owned, can it be privately owned, but considered blighted?
you don't have, that's not part of our package.
Okay, just asking.
What's the reason for going from 100 to 200?
We're going, what you're approving here is you're approving 100 for commercial. And we felt our board should be increased due to the cost of demolition.
So you might get more takers if you're able to kick in a few more dollars to get rid of the blight.
And the decrease of the land bank and the increase in support of housing assistance. We don't have you here often, Martha, so I like to quiz you.
This has to do with the Act 1, 37 affordable housing budget. We needed to make an adjustment in order. We have certain line items in our budget, and we were a bit low on the supportive housing assistance category, so we had to increase that. And knowing that it's towards the end of the year, we're taking the money from the land bank line item. And so it's available for the Habitat for Humanity.
That is next in line, that's the 35,000.
That's correct.
So Martha, that acts like a budget adjustment that we would make at the end of the year if we find out we're short in this, but we're long in this, we jockey the funds around.
Was that an explanation? I'm satisfied.
Any further discussion? Thank you, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 10, Monroe County Planning Commission. We hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 10, items A and B.
So moved.
I'll second that.
First and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 11, Carbon Monroe Pike Mental Health Developmental Services. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 11, item A?
So moved.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 12, capital outlay purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the capital outlay purchase report dated 12/1/22?
So moved.
Second.
First, second, all, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And number 13, computer capital purchases. I hear a motion to approve computer capital purchases, number 13, item A.
So moved.
Second.
Second, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any miscellaneous today?
I'm from me.
I'm from me.
Public comment?
Yeah, I'd like to say so.
Oh, it's gonna be as long as the last time?
Yeah.
No, well, it should be longer, but could have said something earlier. Bonnie's been here a long time. So, and from my observation, she probably has had one of the tougher jobs in the county for a long time. I'm sure there's times when you're like, should I really keep doing this? But I can remember some things that, made life very difficult for her as well as the rest of us, but probably more pointedly her. And for those that haven't been here as long as I have, just multiply some of the things that you thought about. And it's just happening over and over again. It's not a fun job. I'm sure she knew that it wasn't a fun job, but a challenging job, what she said. And, enjoy working with.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
We have an election board meeting at 10:30
yeah.
a.m.
Election board is 10:30 with the board of assessors at 1.